The death of Russian President Vladimir Putin's most prominent critic sparking protests around the world. 3 years ago, President Biden warned Putin of devastating consequences if Alexei Navalny died in Russian custody. Tonight, Mr. Biden says he's weighing new sanctions.
We already have sanctions moving and we're considering additional sanctions, yes.
Russian officials say Navalny died in prison while going for a walk. His wife Yulia today said he was poisoned, and Russia is refusing to hand over his body. Vladimir Putin killed my husband, she says. I will continue to fight for my country. I encourage you to stand by my side. Tonight, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump's first comment on Navalny, making no mention of Putin or Russia. Writing, "The sudden death of Alexei Navalny has made me more and more aware of what is happening in our country." Nikki Haley slamming that comment and Trump's recent remarks that he would encourage Russia to attack NATO allies unwilling to meet defense spending goals.
He sided with a dictator who kills his political opponents.
The Biden campaign also looking to exploit those comments.
Every president since Truman has been a rock-solid supporter of NATO.
Targeting this digital ad to the 900,000 Michigan voters with roots in NATO border states. Voters like Andy Ladek, a U.S. Army veteran who immigrated from Poland as a child and finds the remarks disqualifying for a would-be commander-in-chief.
For someone like a former president of the United States to say something like that is beyond the pale. It's just totally unacceptable.
But President Biden faces an uphill battle here in Michigan, where polls show Mr. Trump in a strong position.
And Garrett, President Biden also faces a new hurdle in Michigan related to next week's Democratic primary. What can you tell us?
That's right, Lester. A movement among the state's sizable Arab American population, including progressive Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, to vote uncommitted in that primary as a protest vote against the Biden administration support for Israel and their actions in Gaza. It could be a major warning sign for November. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.